Coming up, the Nuggets get bodied in Game 3 versus the Clippers. But like Loki in Endgame, I tell you, brother, the sun will shine on us again. This is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day, being an everyday or hanging out with us Monday through Friday, both on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or youtube.com/Locked On Nuggets. We do appreciate you guys being part of our community. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. We have a free daily newsletter at LockedOnDaily.com. You should check out and download and subscribe and do all the things, and you can read more about what a game you never want to think about ever again. So probably not, but like sometime you're going to want to think about the Nuggets again, and we'll have great content in there for you.
Subscribe to it, but you don't have to open tomorrow's newsletter. We'll open the Monday one. That's fine. Just you don't have to open tomorrow's.
Ryan, Clippers Nation is in our comments.
Ooh.
The online Clippers fans are here. All two of them have shown up. I'm so excited for them. That's great. We'll talk about the Nuggets getting bodied. I have a very broad message for you from that perspective. We'll talk about the details of the series. We'll talk about a lot of the things. This is, to me, a cathartic episode. I'm Matt Moore, senior NBA writer for the Action Network. I write Denver Dig. That's Ryan Blackburn. He's at Mile High Sports and the Pickaxe and Roll podcast. Go support his work there. I have like an overbranching because, like, look, we can get into that. Like, we could talk about it. Like, well, they started out on a 10-5 run, and then blah, 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 blah. The Nuggets got stomped. They got stomped by a much better team. They got stomped by a much deeper team. They got stomped by a team that got to finally play in an arena that they get to call their own, and that's a cool moment.
Yeah,
I think for Clippers fans, for them to be able to beat a team that won the title 2 years ago, that has more titles than them, that has more playoff success than them, that has never blown a 3-1 lead, that all these things, like, they get to celebrate that. And I genuinely, like, I've always wanted good things for the Clippers fans because, like, I always want the little brother to win. Like, I want the Nets and the Clippers to not feel like second-class citizens, because that's what I hate most about sports, is that there's these franchises that are supposed to be less than, and like Denver was one of those until they won the title. And I want good things for the Clippers and their fans, and that's really good. But like, there's not a lot of takeaways. The Clippers hit 1 billion threes because the Nuggets decided to double Kawhi Leonard, and they just decided to take threes. This is a team that doesn't take them. This is a team that makes them but doesn't take them, and they both took them and made them, and that immediately put them in a hole. The Clippers defense is very good. The Nuggets are very solvable, and the Clippers have solved the Nuggets offense. Yeah, this is my big thing, Ryan. The series. So we'll start here. The series is not over from the perspective of how long it will go. I would not be shocked if the Nuggets win in Game 4. It would not surprise me if they came back and won 4 and 5. I wouldn't be like, whoa. I would be like, okay. But like, I'll just tell you this right now. The Nuggets are not getting out of the series. Done. They are not winning the series. They are not going to win 3 out of 4 versus the Los Angeles Clippers. That's not happening. They can win 2 out of 4. They can't win 3 out of 4. The most likely outcome for me remains Game 6. Probably they lose. They go down 3-1. They win in Denver. They lose in LA in Game 6 is what I think is probably the most likely outcome here. The gentleman's sweep is not off the table. It's not impossible, right? The Clippers have gotten the edge, and they figured out the Nuggets, and they could just beat them down. The series is not over from that perspective, but the outcome is. So I'll start there, and I assume you agree with me, because I think that, I mean, you picked Nuggets to win the series, but I think probably after Game 2, you would probably move the other way. Is that accurate?
I shifted a little bit. I didn't shift all the way to Clippers winning this series, and I don't feel quite the same way that you do about like it being over, and that's crazy for me to say. It feels that way, but I just have seen this team bounce back from that so many times, and I've seen Jokic and Murray pull magic so many times. They haven't been able to generate as many shots as they need to. They haven't been able to gain enough separation in what they need to. But today, like, they scored 46 out of the 83 points. and they shot 17 of 29 from the field. The rest of the team shot 14 of 48, which is about 29% from the field. It's just not going to cut it. So Denver's got to get some guys that are going to make some shots here. And it was supposed to be Michael Porter. He got hurt and also just hasn't looked good at all in these playoffs. And Aaron Gordon did some good things early on, but then clearly gassed out and was kind of limping towards the end of it. The calf, I think it's playing a little bit more of a factor than you were hoping for. And then Christian Brown, just frankly, a hapless performance from Christian Brown tonight. And
are you, outside of the whole roster, are you surprised and disappointed by this series from Christian?
He has been the most disappointing Nugget, yes.
Okay. So,
and like I don't say that lightly because he was going to be the guy that I want good things for Christian Brown. I think that over the long haul he's going to be very good, but right now he's just so limited. And there was one drive that he had kind of going to his right and going up against Norman Powell, and he just had to settle for this ugly floater that barely drew iron. And having to get to that situation when nobody is around you, nobody cares that you are the one dribbling with the basketball in your hands. Like, somebody has to step up for the Nuggets. Porter's hurt. Gordon's hurt. Westbrook got hurt. Jokic and Murray can't do everything. Peyton was like a minus 29 in 6 minutes tonight or whatever it was. So, like, somebody's got to step up. And to me, I was hoping for it to be Christian Brown. If he doesn't show anything, then Denver's got some major questions.
The team has played with this energy that I think the team knows it's over. Yeah. The team has played with this energy basically the entire season, except for 3 games after they fired the best coach in franchise history.
Yeah.
Which they all contributed to that decision.
Yeah.
So like that, like this is nothing new from them. Also, here's the thing about the Nuggets is that they're annoying and dragging it out. Right? Like they could have just spiraled off and missed the playoffs like the Suns, but they didn't do that. Instead, they finished with the 4th best record in the Western Conference, got home court, and left just enough on the bone to believe that maybe they could make a run. Like
Jamal Murray, how dare you doubt us? How dare you?
Yeah,
how dare you give up on us?
Fans on the hook has been the motto this season. Like they've kept Nuggets fans on the hook, and we couldn't count them out. Like we really couldn't. We've counted them out in terms of we were talking like it's done. Like we were critical, and we said we did like 5 shows this year where we said like the season's over. You know? And like, I don't regret those because, like, yeah, here's the thing. If you fire your coach, you're not going anywhere. You're not. If you fire your coach, you're not going anywhere. I've defended Adelman because I don't think this is an Adelman thing. This isn't Ty Lue. Ty Lue has Derek Jones Jr., Nick Batum, and Ben Simmons coming off the bench. The Nuggets have Jalen Pickett, Peyton Watson. Like the Nuggets have Jalen Pickett, Peyton Watson is having a terrible series, and now Russ is hurt. Russ was actually really good in the first 2 games. So, like, you know, the Adelman's up against it. And here's the other thing. I've been consistently, I'm the guy that's like, hey, look, winner, like, Joker has to be the guy. Like, heavy is the crown. You can't always blame everybody else. Joker sometimes has to be the guy to get it done. Tonight, I'm not doing it. Tonight, I'm not, because there's nothing they can do with the roster he has around him, with the way that the Clippers are just like, we know you're not good enough. We know what your roster is. We know that none of you guys are scary. Jamal had a perfectly fine night tonight. Yeah. All of the stuff about the Nuggets are only going to go as how many times did I have to hear from everybody? Well, you know, the real barometer is Jamal. That's the real barometer. The Nuggets will only go as far as Jamal Murray. It's all on Jamal. Jamal showed up tonight.
Yes, he did.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. And that's not, again, not on Joker. But my point here is, like, you got to build the team. You got to build the 5. You got to build 10 guys.
Yeah.
I had a long thread on Twitter, and people really liked it. And it was nice to hear people say nice things about me for once. Then it was talking about some of the CBA differences, and I'm going to make it into an article here in a little bit because, like, this is a big thing. You got to choose. You no longer get to have 4 stars. You don't get to have 4 guys whose names go on the marquee. You don't get to have 4 guys who sell jerseys. You get to have 2 guys who sell jerseys and 8 guys that do the jobs that get you wins. And those are hard jobs, and they're thankless jobs, and they're difficult jobs. And Aaron Gordon does them, but he also gets paid to be a guy that puts up 35 a night. And the problem is like they need Aaron Gordon to do the stuff that he does, but they need somebody else to do the other stuff, and they don't have it.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to reconfigure the entire roster, and we're going to talk a lot about that over the summer. The Clippers are definitively better. I started off the week on Buckets, my betting podcast. I was like, I'm taking Nuggets in 7. And by Thursday, I had bumped up the Clippers in power rating and was like, it's Clippers in 6. Like, that's got to be it. And that's the position that I've built. And I picked Clippers in 6 when we did Den Avengers. So there's not going to be any like, ha, 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 you said no. Like, I mocked the Clippers on our squad show West because the Clippers fans deserve to be mocked and still do. Like, I'm sorry. There's a lot of things about this that aren't.
Okay, hold on. You can't call them little brother and then say that they deserve to be mocked. That's just cruel, man. It's just cruel.
Some of the behavior. I'm gonna enjoy the West shows when it's Thunder Clippers. Yeah. I'm gonna enjoy that show quite a bit.
That's true. That's fair. It's like weird. Kawhi
I love Darren. He does such a great. I'm so happy for Darren. He's had such a rough year, and for Darren to have like what's going on right now is absolutely phenomenal. It's terrific. Yeah. Like, I'm glad he gets to be happy. Sure. Even though he's inventing this thing with Adelman in the crowd, like this is a ridiculous.
It was wild.
So I've talked a lot here, Ryan. But this is kind of where I'm at. It's just like, yeah, like you know. I've tried to push you past because you've been like, well, this is a roster issue. 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 And as the year's gone on, especially after the trade deadline, I've been like, Ryan, we can't talk about it anymore, man. Like, they got to win with what they got. But now we're at this point, and it's like, yeah, they tried to win with what they got, and they can't. They can't win with this. They can't win with Christian Brown and Peyton Watson. 2 timelines didn't work. Project Dynasty is dead. It's over. It's finished. The architect of it got fired. Like, it's done. They have to have a complete and total rebuild, and that's going to be really difficult. Before I get to the other side of this coin, I do want to know like your thoughts about all the stuff I've said.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. I think the 10 players who get the job done that get the jersey sold, I think is very apt for a team that has Jokic and Murray. And it sucks because Denver previously was built on a team that had the best starting 5 in basketball. It was built on a team that had what was a perfect unit in 2023 and in 2024 for most of it. That was what won Denver the title. It wasn't the fact that they had Bruce Brown. It wasn't the fact that they had Christian Brown coming off the bench. It wasn't that they had Jeff Green. It was the fact that Denver had 5 perfect fitting players. And they all knew their roles. They all understood the assignment. They all did their job. And they just worked. And Denver found so many great things that they were able to get from that. And now 2 years later, to be in this situation where you are scrambling trying to find a third scorer on a consistent basis is really, really difficult. And the entire reason for it is just like sometimes time passes and the league changes. And the Nuggets did not evolve with the league. There are so many things that we have learned since the Nuggets won the title. I caught some flack from people saying that like Denver got a little bit lucky in 2023, just kind of with the way that the West broke, with the way that, yeah, they didn't have to face the strongest of competition that year. But it was true. And Denver had plenty of opportunities to continue to get better, to continue to add pieces. And rather than do that, they've gone backwards with their roster building. And rather than develop more connections, more players, add more veterans that they could trust, they have added fewer. And it sucks because, like, I put out a tweet about Russell Westbrook tonight. He was 0 of 10 in the non-Murray minutes. And immediately it was not me criticizing Russ and making him the entire sole reason why the Nuggets are dead, but it's just one element. And if they had another element that they could go to, then it wouldn't have been an issue. It wouldn't be an issue. The problem is they have 0 ways that they could go. They needed Russell Westbrook to be great. He was good and good enough to win 2 games in the first 2 games. And then he got hurt in game 3 and it sucks. But Denver just has so many things that they have to iron out, not the least of which is how much they even want to be here anymore and how much any of the guys want to be here anymore doing this thing and fighting for each other in what we think has been a lost season for a long time.
In the comments, someone said, Marco says, Ryan, the league got better. Denver didn't get better. This is a text message that Ryan Blackburn sent to me tonight. We know, man. We got it. It says the Nuggets, the rest of the NBA got better and the Nuggets got worse.
How about that profile picture?
And that's like, that really is kind of like the crux of it. So, yeah. Up next, I'm going to tell you, here's the thing. Once things start to go bad, then everyone gets in a race to go to the furthest.
Yes.
Oh, the Nuggets look like they're going to get eliminated in the first round. The Nuggets will never win again. They're never going to be able to be good ever again. Joker will never beat a 50-win playoff team. It's all over. I'm going to tell you why the sun will shine on the Nuggets again. Coming up on Locked On Nuggets. Do you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? You turn on any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your pair of controllers, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed, as easily as you stream your favorite TV shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. I'm heading at the end of June, we've scheduled our annual trip to Steamboat Springs. It's my favorite place in Colorado to go. It is my happy place. I have some of my favorite memories with my kids there. We go every summer. But I'm not missing my time gaming at night once the kids are in bed. So taking the Fire TV stick, and I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be in Verdansk in Warzone. I'm going to be playing Assassin's Creed. It's going to be terrific. And I know it's going to fit on whatever TV is in the Airbnb. That's what's great about the Fire TV stick. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max first and second generation, and Fire TV Cube third generation. We're also brought to you today by Game Time. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game, like in the Intuit Center, with the wall, with the horse faces, every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena, and with Game Time, you can be part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. Game Time makes it fast and easy to get playoff tickets, even when demand is high. Prices on the app actually go down as the tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. You're going to want to be in the building when the Avalanche try and even the series with the Stars, because, God, that game was annoying the other night, and they're going to get it done. I believe in the Avalanche, even if I have questions about the Nuggets. Take the guesswork of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets.
Questions about the Nuggets. Just small little itty bitty questions.
I mean, look, they're not terrible. Like, that's the thing, is like
They're good. They're a good team.
The 4th seed. They did beat this team, and they can win game 4, and it'll be 2-2. Like, somebody's like, the series isn't over. It's just 2-1. It is. The problem is that via whowins.com, if you are the road team and you are up 2-1, then you go on to win the first round series 59% of the time. That sounds about accurate, actually. Kevin Charles, I'm a Mavs fan. Y'all's situation isn't that bad. Trust me. Oh man, I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm genuinely sorry.
Yeah, that used to be pretty good.
Drunk Philosophy wants you to talk more. So,
okay.
I have thoughts, but I guess I will ask you this. There's a lot of people that are bleak about it, and like a lot of this is just like, we just expect every star to be like, I did not win the championship. It's time to move on, as if that's a reasonable thing. I don't expect Joker to ask out. There's a possibility that he's gone when the Supermax comes up and he wants to move on. Maybe that wouldn't be like the most shocking thing in the world. I'd be a little surprised, but not shocked, because this is the NBA. But like, Nikola Jokic isn't getting traded this summer. So my question for you before I talk more, I'm sorry, Drunk Philosophy, I have thoughts tonight. But my question for you, Ryan, is I think this is the low point. I think this is the absolute low point, is realizing, you know what? The roster's not good enough to compete with the Clippers. Like, this is it. Can't beat the Clippers in a first round playoff series. We lost to the Wizards twice. This is who we are. This is it. I think this is the low point. Do you agree?
I think I'm going to
Jesus.
shout out Jesus Christ. Don't lose faith yet. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. I just
shout out Jesus.
Wanted to throw that one at the man from Nazareth himself is in the chat. No, I think the most important thing for people to put into perspective here is that like Denver still has Nikola Jokic, they still have Jamal Murray, and at this point, it feels bad because it is. Like Denver doesn't have a lot of assets at their disposal. They do not have a lot of like flexibility that you would assume would be extremely helpful in this situation. They've got to get a lot of things right going forward in order to kind of get back on the mountaintop. And so the situation I think that is most emblematic of this one is it's not the Milwaukee Bucks. It's actually we're kind of nearing Phoenix Suns territory in terms of like you have a situation where you've exhausted a lot of your assets trying to do some of the things that you're trying to do. And you could go one of two ways. You could either make a great move to try to get yourself out of this hole and start setting yourself up in a new situation, taking yourself into the future, and then kind of resetting the clock on what should be a good contention window. Or you could trade for Bradley Beal and complicate the issues even further. And so when I recommended during this season to trade for Zach LaVine, I know which one that looks like more. I do. I understand it. And so maybe the right call for Denver was to just kind of eat this year and say, look, there's not a lot of good situations out there for us. There's not a lot of good situations and ways to kind of turn this around on the fly. The best thing Denver can do is take a step back, try to find the best possible free agents, try to find the best possible, like whether it's co-star, whether it's role players, whatever, around Jokic that they can, then they'll try to do that. But I don't know, like it still to me feels like Denver's one or two good 3-and-D players away from being extremely dangerous. And if they have those things, then it's like that shouldn't be that hard to identify, no?
No, it's about getting them. Now, we'll talk a lot in the summer about the trade value of various guys. And like this is a lot of it is that on the roller coaster that is Ryan Blackburn with MPJ, like we have like this is it is like trying to figure out MPJ's trade value.
It's done. Like he's no longer a top 100 player at this point.
And that's he had the best season of his career for 2 months. God, season's too long, man. But we'll talk about like what they can get for various guys. The thing I'll tell you though is there's going to be a lot of teams I think that are willing to do that are desperate, so they're willing to change things up because here's the thing: every team's in the CBA spot.
Yeah,
not just the Nuggets, man. Like here's the thing: is like, well, they're in the Bucks spot. Yeah, they're in the Bucks spot. Who are in the Sun spot? Who are in the Heat spot? Who are in the like? It's everybody, man. The only team that is in a good position right now, the only team that's in a great position is OKC and the Lakers. That's it. Everyone else. And if you're like, what about Houston? Houston doesn't know who their guy is. Jalen Green could have 5 points tomorrow or 34. That they are not in that position
to be here.
Like, they don't have the guys. They don't have the guy. I think Amen can be that guy, but they don't have the guy right now. Like the young, like Orlando's got Franz and Paolo, and that's awesome. They can't shoot. They can't shoot. They have no guards. They can't create offense. Their offense is miserable. Boston Boston's. I think Boston's going to win the title again this year. I think they're going to be our first repeat champion since 2018. It's been 7 years, and they're going to be our first repeat champion. But Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis are going to deteriorate. Al Horford has to retire at some point.
At some point, he can't keep getting away with it, man.
and those guys, and probably the Celtics will have a year like the Nuggets, where it's like, this was so good 2 years ago. What happened?
Yeah.
Like what happened?
Yeah.
And then they're going to have to move their guys. So everybody's in that spot, which means that there will be opportunities to swap out parts because they'll talk themselves. Now, you'll have to talk yourself into guys too. That's the key, is it's going to have to be like, you're not going to get the perfect guys, but you're going to have to be like, I believe you have to identify the guys that you can. Ironically, what you need is you need to work on like the talent evaluation of drafting. You just need to put it into free agency. Quit trying to make like stars out of mold and clay.
Yeah. Denver's never been able to get good free agents though. Like this is
no, I'm just more talking about trade assets. That's what.
Yeah, it's going to be very fascinating to see how Denver kind of breaks that. And like, I guess we should probably just talk about the rest of this series in some way, because like, look, they are, you just kind of think that they're dead. Like you don't, do you even want to talk about this current iteration anymore?
The idea was that when the playoffs came, maybe they'd have a gear. Maybe they would get together. Maybe it really was just that they all hated Malone. Maybe they would be able to execute. And the problem here is the Nuggets are an offensive team that can't score versus this Clippers team. They look like a team that if the Nuggets had not won a title, I would be talking about them as this is your typical team that looks good in the regular season with a fancy offense, and then they get to the playoffs and they can't compete when it gets tough.
They were looking like that during the entire regular season. They were looking like the prototypical successful in the regular season because of things that they were going to do that good playoff teams would be able to counter. And the Clippers have countered that. They've cut off the paint. They have done a kind of, I mean, I keep mentioning the spacing. The spacing is a thing, unfortunately. It's just something that like Christian Brown keeps roaming around inside the 3-point line for some reason because he just won't spot up around for three.
That's why I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to talk about the series, because for you, I can't, as much as I pay attention to and follow and obsess over and watch clips and stats and all these things, I can't invent spacing. It exists or it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, the Nuggets have a math problem in a lot of these ways. Like they just can't generate enough of those good value shots right now. And I talked about this it was on Pickaxe and Roll this morning, that Denver averages, I believe, 7.9 pull-up threes attempted per game. That's the way that you would be able to vertically pull away a team like the Clippers from the paint and allowing kind of that action on the interior on a consistent basis. The problem is you're going to laugh, but OKC is very good at this. Boston is very good at this. They lead, and Cleveland is very good at this. Those are the three best teams, and I think the Lakers are also a team that's going to be taking a lot of those shots as well, though they're not as good at it.
So here's my problem with this, is that because I deal with the comments and I deal with Media Row, and if they're taking more of those shots, let's say they build a team, because it's like, we need to build a team that is able to do that more. You know what the complaint's going to be? Why is this guy shooting so much? Why doesn't he just give it to Jokic? Like, that's going to be the complaint, Ryan.
They have to be good enough
like
that they're able to do it.
Zach LaVine's going to shoot. Zach LaVine would have shot 4 of 12 on pull-up jumpers, and it's, why did Zach LaVine take all those shots? Why didn't he give him to Joker?
I would not be saying that personally.
You would not. You would not.
Yeah, the most important thing, because like it is about generating, pulling the defense away from what Jokic does in the middle of the floor. Everybody wants it easier for Jokic. Well, how do you make it easier? Well, you get him more room. You get him more room to operate. You force the opposing team to honor the perimeter jumpers. And like Michael Porter, not really a guy that you have to honor right now from three, or like, I mean, he will make the threes, but
Ryan, do you know who the second best jump shooter off the dribble was this year for minimum 100?
It's Zach LaVine.
No, he's fifth.
He might be first.
Do you know, that's with more qualified attempts? This is minimum 100 attempts on Synergy, which is a little bit more accurate. Do you know who it is?
Is it Jamal? It's
Cameron Payne. Do you want Cameron Payne taking more pull-up jumpers off the, like that? He fits the mold.
Hey, he helped them he's helping them in the series at the Knicks. He's helping
Seth Curry's fourth, Denny Avdia's sixth, LaVine's seventh with the Kings. He was fifth with the Bulls. That's how good LaVine is at it. Steph's ninth. Bogdanovich, who the Nuggets really should have tried hard to get, is eighth. Yeah, man. I just feel like
But again, and so let me counter that by saying it's not necessarily like with the pull-up shooting, it's not just the efficiency, it is the volume. It is just the volume and
again,
forcing the opposing team to come at you every single time.
and I can't separate out, even if it's healthy, what it would be like, because every night it would be comments, why is this guy shooting so much? Just give it to Joker. Why doesn't he give it to Joker more? Even if the offense, this is the thing, like the offense was good this year, and it would just be like, why is this
And
thing?
and so that is how the fan base is gonna have to grow the F up. Like, frankly, and especially our Serbian brothers, like Serbian brothers and sisters, the best offense is not to give the
Dude,
ball to
you
Jokic
say
every single
Serbian
time.
brothers, and I'm just thinking of Swipa. That's all I'm
Well, hey, he's honorary Serbian over there,
oh,
but
you're a
like,
Serbian brother.
so the
So
most important thing is just you have to find like Denver has to find a way to build an offense without Jokic being everything for them all the time, because this is what we are seeing. This is it.
I'm not arguing here. Robert Reductive, this is an amazing level of arguing for the sake of it. We're just talking. I'm just making my only thing is like I'm just trying to like navigate like the complexities of trying to make people happy. And the
It's
reality is like you're gonna be happy when they win.
yeah.
And even then, some of you will complain, but like you'll be happy when they win. And this is my thing is like there will next season will be better than this. I think about this all the time. There are seasons where it's like, man, it's just that team's season. Like it was just that team, and then they don't always win the title. Last year's Knicks, that was their season, man. They were so much fun, and the Knicks fans loved that. And then they imploded versus the Pacers. Like last year, Celtics were that team. The Nuggets were that team 2 years ago. They did win the title, but there's a lot of years like this year's Cavs. Even if they don't win the title, Cavs fans are gonna be like, that team was so much fun to root for. Like they were the most fun team. It was just their year. But on the flip side of that, it's just like, man, there are those years where it's like that year sucked. It just wasn't their year, man. Nothing went right.
The Cavs
like
had that year previously.
And that's the Nuggets. Like the Nuggets they didn't have the injuries. They had some, but they didn't have like excessive injuries like the Pelicans or some of these other teams.
Yeah, one guy every now and then.
For a team that was healthy enough to compete, it just never came together. It never felt good. It never felt right. The wins were not impressed. Like we spent more time complaining on this show after wins, which like if you're getting the clips and you're a Nuggets player, you're like, what the hell do I have to do here, man? The NBA is hard. And I appreciate that. It's more a matter of fans were hopeful that this would be their year because they want every year to be their year. Or at least they wanted this one to be after last year turned out not to be. Last year was their year.
Yes.
Until the Spurs game.
Yes.
Like, and that's how it goes. But I will say, like, I'm optimistic about Denver's future. I think Denver is going to come out of this with an ownership group that's going to make major changes. Some of the things that we'll probably start talking about, let's assume that they lose this series. They're not dead yet. It's not over. It's 2-1. If they lose this series, one of the earliest shows I want to do with you, and I want to do like the same show with you and Swipa to get perspectives on it. Like there's this idea of rebuilding, and I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can go to Nikola Jokic and be like, we're going to win 35 games next year because it's what's best for us. You can't do that, right? So it's not rebuilding.
45 by himself.
It's not rebuilding, it's reloading. But that also means like, and the questions come of like, how are you going to do that without your assets? And that's tricky. And that's why like we'll have to talk about how far you want to go. Do you want to, and like, can you do it in iterations? Can you make iterations to be better next year than you were this year, but not quite good enough? And then use the things you get next year to become better then. Like that to me is how you do it. Because what the Nuggets have done is the Nuggets did not fall off a cliff after 2023. They made the game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals versus the Timberwolves up 20 game 7. They got a little bit worse this year. They're going to lose in the first round of the Clippers. They're going to get a little bit worse. The question is like, can they get better in iterations? What I do think is sad though, is like, this is the end of an era. And that's a bummer.
Of course. Like, and out of respect to those guys, I'm not going to talk about like specific things that I think they should change. Like we're going to wait until the final buzzer actually sounds before we get into those kinds of conversations. And then even probably give it just a little bit of time. But I think that, yeah, Denver has plenty of things that they have to worry about and they have to figure out.
Can we just be clear? There's all this like maybe time to tank. I just want to be clear. There is no draft pick you're going to get that's going to be good enough by the time the Joker is out of his prime. You can't do it. you can't.
The only way you're going to be able to tank is if Joker gets hurt and has a long-term injury.
And you do the David Robinson.
You guys are going to be miserable if that happens.
And then you do David Robinson, Tim Duncan stuff. It's weird. Ball guy is toxic. I'm trying to be the optimistic one here. I'm trying to be like, there's
whatever.
Better days are ahead. Better days are ahead, man. I think, and I understand, like, why are you guys talking about this after game 2? For me, it's that the spacing isn't going to improve, and the Clippers have figured out we can just ignore their spacing. Russ went 3 of 6 in game 1, and they went back and they had a chance in game 2 with him still hitting threes. Like they were making them. And honestly, if Christian Brown passes the ball to Russell Westbrook, the story of the series might have been Russ.
Yeah,
but he didn't. And that's the point, is like, and Ryan, and I kind of asked Ryan about this the other night, and it was like a point of discussion. Like, is there any point in which you feel good about Russ shooting that corner 3? And Ryan said, no. It doesn't matter what Russ's percentage is. Doesn't matter. And it just doesn't. And that's the way the Clippers treat him, is that they don't care.
Like,
it doesn't care. It doesn't matter that he's 36% from the left corner and 43% from the right. They don't care, because the alternative is still like, we'll take our chances with it, because this is the playoffs. You have to choose. And what the Nuggets have put themselves into a position of with their defensive personnel is they don't get to choose. Is that they play straight up, Kawhi kills them and Harden kills them. If they bring help, Nick Batum and honestly Derrick Jones Jr., who I think has played really well in this series, kills them. Like, they have guys, the Nuggets don't. They have a serious rotation of actual NBA players. The Nuggets don't. They don't have a rotation of it. They can't be like, oh, Mike's hurt. Mike's seriously hurt and shouldn't be playing. We got to go to Derrick Jones Jr. tonight. They can't do that. He's got to play because nobody else can do it.
I really am disappointed with Christian not being able to step up. That one I think is pretty big.
I think for me, because people are like, he's a 6-man. I don't think that's true.
I think
Christian had a phenomenal season, and he got better this year. Like, I promise you, I know it's hard to tell right now. I'm telling you, like, I killed Christian for his defense early in the year. Like, I was ragging on Ryan about it. Like, I was like, hey, this isn't good enough, man. Like, I get the number that, like, it's fun that he gets out in transition, but the defense, Christian got way better. He got way better defensively. And Christian's going to be better next year and the year after and the year after and the year. And when Christian is 28, Christian's going to be one of the most rock solid 3-and-D players in the league.
Yes.
He's going to get in the gym and he's going to shoot a billion jumpers and he's going to get a 3-point shooter up where he becomes a more viable threat. The player that Christian is that guy that where it's like everyone, I understand like lavishing over Christian more than I get some of the other guys that people have. Zeke Naji, you know, Jalen Pickett, I think Mike can maybe be able to turn into something, but even then, like Jalen, I believe a lot in Pickett or in Peyton Watson, but like Peyton wants to be something that the Nuggets don't need. Or he wants the opportunity to become something the Nuggets can't give him the opportunity to become because they have to have sure things in that category. Like maybe Peyton Watson could be a 35 points a night superstar if he was playing on Charlotte. Like I think Peyton would be incredible on Charlotte.
I think we're losing the thread because he hasn't shown any scoring skill this year. Like not for real.
I want to go to this. CB will never be an elite defender. He'll get played too much and it will be a failure. That's just I'm sorry, man. I just don't agree. Like, you agree with that?
No, he just means like he'll get paid too much. And I do think, I mean, that's going to be something that we're going to have to talk about in the offseason. Like what's the right amount for contracts for these guys. But no, I think that Christian's going to get so much better over the course of these years. Like I do genuinely believe that he's going to be like a borderline top 10 shooting guard, small forward, whatever you want to classify him as, by the time he's in his prime. Like that's going to happen. The question is, can the Nuggets wait? And is he the right fit is a fair question.
Versus like Christian's good now. And again, like Christian's, I get somebody's like, he's shooting 14% from 3 in this series. Okay, that's 3 games. Like if Christian shot 14% over 3 games in the regular season, would we comment on it? No.
But
like it's recent and it feels really bad. Is it Is that something that he's got to improve on? 100%. I think this year was about him learning how to be a starter and playing this many minutes because it took a lot out of him. Like, it's harder than you think to play in the NBA this many minutes, this many games, this many nights.
Yeah.
And now he's done it, and he'll get better at it, and he'll improve.
Who could have possibly foreseen that he would be a little bit tired at the end of the year when he averaged 36 minutes a night for a full 82?
That's not that crazy though. That's just
with the kind of role that he's playing and the kind of effort that he's putting
I'm like, look, some guys are gonna have, not everybody gets to play 25.
Yeah. Well, especially on Denver, that's for sure.
And I'll tell you this too. It's like, I think the Grizzlies play Jaren Jackson even beyond the foul trouble. They play him less than 30 and it annoys the hell out of me. Drives me nuts. You need Jaren Jackson on the floor more. Like, get his conditioning up. That dude needs to play 35 minutes a night.
Yeah.
35 is fine for a player to play in the NBA. It's when you get to the tip level, it's bad.
Can you address the Russ injury? Any update? I don't have an update. I don't think that the Nuggets have any update unless they came out with something that I didn't see.
Adelman said, I think ankle, but it's foot. His foot suffered inflammation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, look, if he tweaked it in warmups and it's something swole up in the foot, it could be really bad. I'm not gonna be surprised if he misses game 4. And I'm not gonna be surprised if Mike misses game 4. So they might just be down to like 6 dudes.
Sick.
Yeah. I mean, this is
the burden of your superstar. All right, and here's the thing, like, Joker's gonna try to go put up 40, and Jamal's gonna go try to put up 40.
No, he's not. I'll tell you that. So I don't have a problem with Joker tonight because Joker's just like, if they're open, if they're gonna do this, the only way for me to break them is to have this many assists. I have to trust my guys. It's the only way to break this defense. I cannot squeeze through a triple team for a layup. You can't do it.
He might try.
Maybe.
I kind of think that, especially if it gets to it, because
I think for him,
2022.
I think for him though, I think he's more in a space of like, with where this team is at. I think he's kind of like, what's the benefit of me doing that? It takes a lot out of me and it buys us a game, but it's not going to fix the problem. Right?
Yeah. I mean, what's the benefit of him trying on defense this season?
But he's been good in the playoffs.
He has. Like, he's tried. Like, I mean, in the playoffs, he's absolutely tried. And I honestly think his defense has been pretty good in the playoffs.
It has been. It's been good. Outside the first quarter of game 1, I have no complaints about Joker's defense. No complaints. Yeah. He just,
just not enough beyond it.
So my thing is, like, I got called toxic. I actually am just like, hey, this sucks. They're going to be what sucks to me is, like, this is the last time that I think we're going to see these guys together.
Yeah.
And
whatever happens, like,
that's unfortunate. And like, I was defensive of this group because of what they had accomplished and the chemistry and how much they love playing together. But they also stopped love playing together this year. That was very evident too. There's times for eulogies. The reason I'm kind of getting ahead of it is just that's how it feels. And it's felt like that a lot to us this year. We've done this show. We've done the Nugget season is over show, I think 4 times. This is like our 5th time.
It's at least 4. 2 separate times following Washington Wizards games. Once following the Minnesota Timberwolves game where the events happened. And yeah, like once following Michael Malone's firing. So it's been a frustrating year overall. And I know that the Nuggets fan base, and as it's in its entirety, is just very frustrated with how things have gone. You want more guys to be able to step up.
Can I ask you a question about this? Gabriel Greer says the main issue is Jokic isn't shooting. He knows his teammates suck. Which I want to ask you. I genuinely want to ask you this. It's not fair for me to ask you that.
Thank you.
But like, I don't think Jamal Murray sucks. I don't think Michael Porter Jr. sucks. I don't think Aaron Gordon sucks. I don't think Christian Brown sucks. I don't think Russell Westbrook sucks most of the time. There are nights he sucks. And I'm not trying to like. There's nights Russ is great and has made a huge impact. I wanted a good thing. I wanted this to work for him. I hate the story that's written for Russ. It's just not fair, but it is what it is. That's how sports is. I once got into sports because I was like, if life isn't fair, maybe sports could be. No.
Wild.
Yeah. Like I don't think in time I think Jalen Pickett's going to be pretty good. I think Peyton Watson's going to be pretty good. I think Jalen Strother's going to be pretty good. Like Dario Saric sucked for this team and is probably done. That's I can't get around that. Like if Dario was like, you really think that sucked? I'd be like, you are better at your job than I've ever been at anything. But as far as being an NBA rotation player, you were not. And so like I don't know. To me, it's more ephemeral where it's like it's about the combination of guys and how they fit together and their skill sets, how they complement each other, the chemistry, but the skill sets and personnel. It's not about like these guys are bad. And I say this with a lot of confidence because like people would have said like Jarrett Allen was bad a couple of years ago. They would have said Max Strus was bad a couple of years ago. DeAndre Hunter's bad, overrated.
Bad contract.
I'm trying to think of like Dorian Finney-Smith. Like Mavericks fans thought Dorian Finney-Smith sucked until he got good at defense. Rui Hachimura was a joke in Washington.
He was a joke for LA and like with their Hachimura adjustment in Denver. Like
that wasn't his fault, but he was pretty good. But like this is the thing is like I'll tell you this: a lot of the Nuggets guys will go on to play in other places and they'll be good. Not all of them, but some of them, a lot of them. The guys are on the
players.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of these guys are good enough, I think, that if Denver does change up some things, they'll look like they've missed on some of the changes. Like hypothetically, they trade Peyton Watson in a deal that nets them a new starter. Peyton Watson's probably going to go on and have a long career based off of just his ability to play defense, his ability to get out in transition and do a lot of great things. And you could say the same thing about Christian Brown, and you could say the same thing about Jalen Pickett in some ways. You could say that about Zeke Naji, who has been in a really tough place for Denver and just never really got his career off the ground, despite the fact that like Denver's got him locked up. So they're gonna have a lot of things to approach. They're gonna have a lot and I think the one thing is they need to rediscover what their identity needs to be around Nikola Jokic in order to be the best version of themselves again. And I feel like through this entire process, the identity has been pass the ball to Jokic and cut, pass the ball to Jokic in space, pass the ball to Jokic and screen. And that can't be all it is. It has to involve that person on the ball. It has to involve that person creating for themselves and being self-reliant and being good enough to be able to handle pressure. And it's why I wanted Levine. Might not have been the right guy, but it's one of the reasons why. I just think that Denver needs more people and more role players that can do more stuff because they've found a whole bunch of role players that do what Denver needed specifically back in 2023.
One, this comment from Sean Cortez, I trade AG, MPJ, whatever else needed for Giannis, anything really. One, you should not do this because you don't want other teams talking about Jokic like this. You should have some respect for the Bucks and their fans and the connection that he has to that city. Two, does that solve your problem? If you've got Jokic and Giannis, oh man, it's awesome. It's incredible. It's amazing. Like I would be freaked out by having to cover a team with that much star power. But if you have nothing else around them, because both of them make $50 million, what does it matter? Like the Bucks have Giannis and Damian Lillard, and they're getting mollywopped by the Indiana Pacers,
who have 10 good guys.
10 good guys.
Yeah.
Arturas Karnisovas, I guess, has something right there. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you guys being with us. We'll shorten this episode up for the podcast version. If you're listening on the podcast, there's a longer version on the video side that I have to cut down. Otherwise, Nick Angstadt will come to my house and kick me in the nuts. So
he's going to do it anyway.
So, yeah, probably. So you can find a longer version if you're listening to this on our YouTube page. Appreciate you guys being with us. I hope you guys have a great Friday. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. We'll see you back here after game 4. If they win, we'll talk about how everything's fixed and they can do this. And we'll try and talk about these things. On unrelated news, the show that has been brought to you tonight is called No Jinx. We'll see you guys again next time on Locked On Nuggets.
If only we never jinxed the Nuggets. If only we never thought they were good.
This is going to look galaxy brain if we pull it off.